want to remind you of the poll here before I introduce Mr. Pankratz. There we go. How are you feeling about Tennessee's football program? It doesn't look like we've calmed anyone's fears. It appears now that people are still saying worried about 2025. Take out your phone, your smartphone, use the QR code there under the Hearthside Bank logo. Play along with us. Let us know what you think. Come on. You don't need to freak out that much, do you? I always try and play devil's advocate. If it's too negative, I try and get the positive. So let's see if we can get somebody to say, I feel great. We just got to the playoffs. Come on. Give us a shot. Mark Pankratz, you're always, well, you're not always positive, but you're honest. We appreciate you being here.
All this NIL talk y'all we're dealing with, I'm so thankful to be with y'all as opposed to dealing with agents and parents. And your kid hasn't taken a snap, but you want more money. Like,
have you ever been happier that you decided I'm getting out of the basketball coaching biz? I know you miss the actual basketball, but you have to be thrilled you got out before all this crap started.
Yeah, I mean, really for my wife and my kids, but yeah, because of the dynamics, it's no longer, you're no longer a basketball coach. You know, there's people that, I mean, you're dealing with agents, and like Josh said on the last one, agents, parents, kids, re-recruiting the players. Like, there's so much little time for actually preparation for the game, and so much of this other stuff that it takes away the fun of some of the coaching pieces.
Well, that rolls right into what we're going to talk about here. I want to talk about the team's rotation, but that kind of gets into roster. Now, this is a guy in Cameron Carr who was going to be out this year anyway. He was hurt, so he wasn't going to play. But he just decides he's gone. Yeah. And Rick Barnes doesn't really provide much cover for him. When after the post game against MTSU, they're talking to him, what's the deal? He's like, I don't know. He just left. Which kind of reminiscent of what happened with Jonas Adu last year. Kind of a surprise that he just left. You got any insights on the Cameron Carr, Rick Barnes thing there?
Well, I think if you look at the history and then just what's going around the country is these guys come back. One, they see, which we'll talk about in the segment, of the lack of depth, and there's some need for them, and people talk about how great Cameron can be, because I think Cameron could be a good player. Well, now you're coming back, and these parents and other folks are asking for more money. I mean, same thing with Jonas. Jonas had a certain dollar amount that he wanted, and Barnes and staff were willing to give a certain amount. It didn't meet what he was going to get at other places like Arkansas, so he bounced. The fact that a kid can leave a #1 team in the country that has proven to mold these guys, not just as basketball players. I mean, look at the guys that he's putting in the NBA.
Yep.
It's not like these guys are freak athletes. I mean, you look at Grant Williams. I mean, he's an undersized post player that's now playing a 5, 6, 7-year career in the NBA.
Made millions.
He's proven to get guys better. And the fact that you're going to walk away from it and with an opportunity to play, oh, by the way, look at who's leaving after this year. Mashek's gone, Ziegler's gone, Igor's gone. All these guys are gone. Cam, come here, get better this year. And now it potentially could be your team.
Yep.
And these guys walk away. And I think the other part about the NIL, they're so focused on money right now that they miss out on a 4-year career at the University of Tennessee. You can come back to this town whenever your playing career is done, and you can be a staple in this community that will support your business, support your career, and you'll make more money in the future doing. I mean, look at what I'm doing. I mean, I was there coaching.
If I could find a former Vol basketball player, I would knock you out of here so quickly. I would get rid of you. I'd put Cam Carr right there.
That's right.
No. But you're right, though. You can come back.
Isn't it also how this is happening? That Cam Carr, did he say, Coach, I've got some things going on. Can we talk about this? I think I'm going to do X, as opposed to just up and leaving and not having the courtesy. Or your teammates are counting on you during this season to at least tell somebody, this is what's going on in my mind.
Okay. I got to get one more thing here. We went long there. I'll get you guys to answer in on this next segment. Hang on. All right.
Okay.
Let's go to the numbers quick. We've got no, you're fine. Let's go to these numbers I want to show you. Mark asked me to dig these up. We were talking about, is Tennessee's rotation deep enough? He said, give me a look at last year's Elite Eight. So what I did was I went and I found the bench minutes for all the Elite Eight last year, and that includes Tennessee, and then Tennessee this year. And you see Tennessee's playing fewer bench minutes than any of those teams last year. You see where they ranked. There's only like 360 teams in the country, and you were at 330-something down there. So you are really low in terms of the amount of minutes you're giving to your bench. Ken Pomeroy, the guru of basketball stats, he does the thing where he ranks players. If they play more than 13% of all possessions, they're a role player of some sort. Below that, you're just called nearly invisible. Jemai Meshack is not getting 13% of possessions right now, which I think is a little bit of a surprise coming into the season, that he's below 13%, so he's nearly invisible, which means you've only got 7 guys in your rotation if you break it off like that, whereas, see, last year, 8, 9, 11, Mark, Chuck, and Will, does Tennessee have a deep enough rotation to make a good long tournament run this year, based on what you just saw?
I say no because Zakai Ziegler, the load that he has to take on both ends, offensively and defensively, with a lack of a backup. If you talk Meshack or Gainey's the backup, I just think it's going to be hard for him to carry that. Look at the minutes that they're playing, and your average win total is by like 20-something odd points a game. Like, you're blowing a lot of teams out, and they're still logging a lot of minutes.
Right. That was my question like a week or so ago. How can you keep on doing this with Zakai as hard as he plays on defense? The thing I wonder about, John, is your post players. I don't think when you get into like the Auburns and some of these other teams, you've got the physicality. You might have it out there at the start, but I don't think you're going to have it for the whole game. I think that's going to be what really is going to be the big obstacle.
We've seen teams with 6-man rotations make runs in the tournament, right? But you would probably say no, right? I would just looking at this now.
You can't drive a stake through it and say
No.
it never happened.
Yeah,
but the odds are.
Yeah, but it's far more likely that you don't have a deep enough rotation, especially unless you give Meshack more minutes, than 7 guys is going to be able to get it done. Through the SEC, as tough and as deep as the SEC is right now, and then through the NCAA tournament, that's tough. Sometimes you can just get hot, right? Auburn got hot that one year. They made the Final Four. Sometimes you just start knocking things down. I think it would take something like that because Tennessee isn't built for what you want for the tournament.
Or you get the perfect draw
Yes.
in the bracket. So it's possible.
It's possible, but
when you look at it, we've talked about this in past years. That didn't happen last year, but we've talked about in past years that Rick Barnes' teams tend to fade late, and people blame it on, well, he doesn't know how to coach anymore. It has to. You look at the numbers. He wears his guys out. That's what he does. I mean, his teams play a lot more minutes than some other teams out there, and it usually comes back to haunt him, in my opinion.
And you look at the strength of the SEC now, right? It's like SEC football. You got 11 of the 17 SEC games are against ranked opponents. Like, you're going into dogfights, and you're the number 1 team in the country right now. People are coming at you. It's going to it's going to wear on your body physically and mentally.
Let's talk about how it's wearing on Rick Barnes. I want to come back. We were going to do something at the end of this show. It's the last show of the year. I was going to do a big prediction segment and let everybody do a bold statement, bold prediction. Mine was going to be, I think Rick Barnes will hang it up. The Cam Carr thing, Jonas Adu last year, he's proven me wrong. He keeps going, and he's doing a great job, and I hope he doesn't retire. But I was going to say that, and I thought, it'll just be taken as clickbait hot take. And then Mark and I had a conversation this week, so it's back in the show as a discussion point. Rick Barnes' future next. Come on back.